Did you know that companies, businesses, entrepreneurs lose roughly 20 to 70% of new customers they acquire within the first 100 days? Crazy, right? That's why in today's video, I'm going to be sharing some tips that you can start implementing immediately to increase your customer retention. I'll also be sharing some things I personally have begun implementing into my business that you can take, use, tweak, along with giving you a really good book recommendation that I highly suggest getting that's really going to help you in this area and give you like a way more tips than even what I'm giving you now. So all of that coming right up. What's up? My name is Sherri Brown and I help busy work-at-home moms to rediscover their voice, build a solid foundation for their business, and show their kids what's possible. And on this channel, I do everything from product reviews, book reviews, tutorials, as well as actual social media and marketing strategies you can begin implementing to go further faster when building your business online. So if you're new to my channel and this kind of seems up your alley, if it seems like it's your jam, then consider subscribing. Just make sure that you hit the bell so you get notified as I upload new videos each and every week. Now, here's the hard truth. A lot of people, most businesses spend a ton of time, money, resources acquiring new customers. But actually, like, the more that I started researching this, the more that I realized that that's definitely the case. And the sad part is they do very little, on the back end, like after the sale is made, which basically means like they're doing very little to create any type of meaningful experience that's going to keep the customer around long term. Even though there are lots of reasons why customers end up like stopping business with you, more often than not, it comes down to one simple truth. Most feel totally neglected after the sale. Can you relate? Like, has there ever been a time that you've kind of felt that way? What I learned from a book that I will be mentioning here in just a bit was, a company called McKinsey, which is an international consulting firm. Now, they did some research and discovered that 70% of buying decisions are made based on how they feel they're being treated up front. So when you really think about why most customers, oftentimes end up, stopping doing business in the first 100 days due to them feeling neglected, then this totally makes sense. And it's definitely an area that we all can improve on. Now, I want to ask you a question, and that is, I want you to think back, like, is there a particular business, is there a particular like person, brand, company that you are very loyal to? Well, why is that? What is it that makes you love them so much? Now, I want to tell you a little story about a local company, and that is a vet's office, or vet's office that we use. We've got 4 dogs. One recently passed away. We're down to 3 dogs. We have 1 cat, and we, this is the same vet that we take them to over and over, like every single year. There's a couple of different vets at this office, but I love the quality of service that we've received. And here recently, I actually had to put down my old lady Daisy, and just thinking about her just makes me super, super sad. Very, very close. She was a 17-year-old golden retriever that I had rescued, and she was 17 years old, and I've taken her there like ever since we adopted her. And I had to, just make the difficult decision to put her down. And it wasn't long after that, probably within a week of putting her down. First of all, they did not even like make us pay to have her put down, which was very, very sweet. And then about a week later, I received a letter from them. We received a letter. And, it says that they made a contribution. This was actually a letter that we received from a sanctuary and animal refuge. And so we received a letter from them thanking us, or letting us know that a contribution had been made to their sanctuary in memory of Daisy, and it was by our local vet's office. And so, something like this where they just kind of go above and beyond and, really treat you like your family and treat you like you matter. Things like this definitely stand out. And I have this letter. I'm going to keep this letter. I will probably frame it, put it up with a picture of with Daisy. But it's things like this that really make them stand out to me. And so I'm just kind of curious, like, is there an experience that you've had with a person, a business, or a company where you felt like they've really gone above and beyond to make you feel special? Now, my next question is, can you think of a time where you've done business with someone and it was kind of great at the beginning, and then after the sale was made, after the transaction, you thought to yourself, like,
there is no way in hell that I am ever going to do business with them again.
and what was the reason? Like, why did that happen? Did they make you feel bad? Did they, like, how did they treat you? What was the reason why you feel like, okay, like, I'm never doing business with them again? And I'll kind of give you, again, another story. I ended up buying a vehicle. Now, I'm not going to say which vehicle it was or where I bought this vehicle at, but I was dealing with a particular salesperson, car salesman. And they were awesome whenever I was looking for the vehicle, very helpful. Like, anytime that I sent them a message or gave them a call, they immediately called back, responded to my text messages. And then after the sale was made, within probably a week, I ended up having some issues with it. My DVD player ended up going out, and it was just like, they weren't returning my calls. It was just like, after the sale was made, it was just like, hey, thanks for the commission, like, leave me alone. They were not helpful when it came to customer service or helping me fix a problem. It was like they only cared if they were going to make some money for me. And because of how I was treated after the sale, like, I will never go back to that person ever again. Now, hopefully I live a very long life and I will be, getting a few more vehicles in my lifetime. And because of how they treated me after the sale, they just lost out on any future business that I would be willing to give them. And here's the truth. There are some things in your business that you may not be able to really, like, have any control over. Let's say you're in network marketing and there's a product on back order, like, you don't have any control over that. But one thing that you 100% have control over is the way that you treat your customers before the sale and after the sale. Not only that, but it's one thing that can 100% set you apart from your competition. And you are in control of that. How you take care of your customers, how you make them feel. Now, just a little disclaimer before we hop into these tips. No matter how awesome you are, you could literally, have some customers that you send gold nuggets to, I don't know, gold bricks or whatever, and you're never going to have like 100% retention. It's just not going to happen. So just understand that. But use these tips to really help you in regards to lowering the amount of lost customers that you do have. So let's go ahead and hop into these tips. Now, this is really, the first few that I'm going to go over is really how you support them after the sale. So the very first tip that I'm going to give you is something that you can absolutely implement right away. When you get a new customer, how are you supporting them right after the sale? What are you doing to make yourself stand out? One thing you could do is send a welcome note, just a handwritten letter. And I truly, to my core, believe that this is becoming a lost art. And if I'm being totally honest, I can count on one hand how, and I love to buy, okay? I'm totally a buyer. I love supporting people. I buy a lot, okay? Not only stuff from clients, but, from places that I've found on Facebook and social media, and I shop online. And I can literally count on one hand how many times that I have actually gotten a thank you note after the sale. And the craziest thing is, the most important thing that I want you to keep in mind is, because so few do it, the ones who do totally stand out in my mind. Right now, I can sit here and name off every single person that I have received a welcome note from, just thanking me for my business. Now, you can go and get thank you notes from the dollar store or Walmart, or order something online from Amazon, or, I recently had some custom cards made from Vistaprint. And all I did, and this is for those in my group coaching program called the Mom's Marketing Lounge, I just went to Vistaprint, and I'll link it below where you can go to the site that I actually went to custom make my own. But it was just simple little cards. So I have the Mom's Marketing Lounge on here. I have welcome, which, let me see if you can see it. It's in those colors. And then inside it's blank. And so I write just a personalized handwritten note. I had on the back of the card just my name. I tell them, hey, don't forget to join our Facebook group. And then it just has my tagline, my branding statement, that I help busy work at home moms rediscover their voice, build a solid foundation for their business, show their kids what's possible. And again, these were very low cost, even though I had them custom made. Not a big deal. So you can go this route, or again, you can just go to whatever local store you have and just get some like welcome cards, just to kind of help you stand out a little bit. Like, show them that you appreciate their service, that they aren't just a dollar sign to you, that you truly are thankful and grateful that they came to you and chose to do business with you, and that should never be taken lightly. Now, another thing that you can actually do is, if you didn't want to do like the cards, is you could just call them. So if you didn't want to do like the handwritten note, you could give them a call, just thanking them for, placing an order, or thanking them for, purchasing whatever they purchased from you. So just a couple of tips there. Now we are going to move on to my second tip. Now, this may or may not work depending on what type of business you're in, but creating some type of community, and this can be easily done just by simply creating a private Facebook group. Like, having that sense of support, that sense of just belonging, is a basic human desire that we all long for. So could you create a Facebook group? Do you have one now that you created, where your customers can come and get extra tips to help them along on their journey, where they can get supported, where they can become a part of a community and really connect and socialize with other people who are, doing the same thing that they're doing? This is actually something else that I do to support members inside of the Moms Marketing Lounge. Now, I also have just a private free Facebook community, which I will also link. Everything that I talk about will be below in the description. But I also have just a free community. I find a lot of the times, like on Facebook, people aren't as apt to really open up on like a profile in the comments, or if you have a business page. But I've noticed inside of a private Facebook group, they feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more at ease, and a little bit more likely to just open up to where you can develop that deeper relationship. And so again, I've got the free community, and then I also have our Moms Marketing Lounge private Facebook group as well. And I go in there multiple times a day. We have a lot of the members inside, they're posting their questions. And what I love about it is that other, members inside of the community, like, they're totally supporting, giving feedback, giving advice. And, I think a lot of the times just that sense of community is enough to keep some people around for a lot longer. Tip number 3. This is making sure that you are taking the time out to onboard your customers and your clients properly. Now, again, depending on what type of business you're in, this may or may not have to be done. There is, on Facebook, that's where I discovered one of my absolute favorite boutiques, which I actually got this shirt from, and quite a few other, tops that I've been wearing lately in videos. And so obviously, like, I don't need to be onboarded. I go online, I order the clothes, and I get it, and there's no real like onboarding that needs to be done. But based on your type of business, there are some things that may need to be explained. For example, so let's say that like you're with a health and wellness company, and you've got health and wellness products, and you've got customers that order a bundle. And this is something that I've actually gone through as well. And I ordered, a product line, and it's what helped me drop 3 sizes in like 12 weeks. I'm sorry about that. And because a lot of people like noticed my journey and what I went through, I ended up referring a lot of other people to use those same products. And so it was very important whenever they made the purchase and used that link of mine, that I set them up and explained exactly, how to use the products. This can be done either through, you could Facebook message them, you could send them an email, you can create one video where you send it to, everybody who orders. It's totally up to you how you do this, but just keep that in mind if, whatever your customers are buying from you, if it needs explained, make the process as easy as possible, because nobody wants to feel like, they took the time, they trusted you to do business with you, and then they feel like they're totally left in the dark to figure things out for themselves. Now, I'll give you another example, and this is, again, I'll kind of show you the process that I go through inside of my group coaching program called the Mom's Marketing Lounge. Whenever we open up enrollment, it does open and close. So if that's something you want to look into, just go to the link below. May or may not be open. If it's not open, you can hop on the wait list. But, when somebody comes in, becomes a new member inside of the lounge, there's a few things that I do to make this onboarding process as simple as possible. And, as soon as they sign up, they get a welcome email, and that kind of explains, where to start, how to join the Facebook group, what to look for, some different nuggets. Then, once they join the private Facebook group, once I accept them, I will send them a message, do a group message with my assistant. I have ended up hiring a customer experience manager. And so I will get them in touch with my assistant, who again goes over the process. She's there if they have any questions. She's there to make sure that they know where to start. If they have any particular questions outside of coaching, they know to go to her. I also, inside of my group, started I created a welcome video. And so what I do is I just make it to where I welcome all the new members in one batch. I have a little video that also explains where to start. And so there's multiple touch points based on whether they check their email or, on Facebook Messenger or in the group. I do everything that I can to ensure that they know exactly where to start, where to find the information, because again, based on my coaching program and the services I provide, it's very much a necessary step to take so they don't feel lost, like they just have no clue where to start. If that doesn't make sense, let me know, but I think I pretty much explained it as well as I could. So just think about what you can do and implement to make sure that people don't feel lost in the process once they start doing business with you. Now we are going to move on to the fourth tip. And this is creating some type of follow-up system for your customers. I don't know how many times that I have purchased products for somebody and it was like after I made the purchase, they just went MIA. That's definitely not something you want to do. So create some type of follow-up system where, whether it's you messaging them, ever so often to make sure everything's going okay. Do they have any questions? Are they getting their needs met? Do they have any concerns? And again, inside of the Mom's Marketing Lounge, I have my assistant who will check in with them generally about once a month. Now, I will say that even though she checks in with them, some people see the message, they don't respond. Some people never see the message. But again, I have that in place just as kind of like checkpoints. Now, I'm not saying to message them like every single week and bug the teetotal crap out of them, because that can get annoying. But again, just make sure that you're not just leaving your customers high and dry, especially if it's an ongoing product. You always want to make sure that they feel like they're getting taken care of. Now, the fifth tip, take time to learn about your customers. Nobody wants to feel just like a number. And, the more people want to feel like they matter. You know this as well as I know this. When I make a purchase or when I'm doing business with somebody, nothing sucks more than feeling like when I got my cards, they wanted the commission, and after that, they just bounced. They couldn't care less. If I had any issues, they weren't there. People want to feel special. And so, what can you do to learn more about your customers? And because the more they feel like you care, the more impressed they're going to be. And there's a few things that you can do to really get to know your customer. One simple way is go to social media. Spend a few minutes looking over their profile. Are they hanging out on Facebook? Go to their Facebook profile. Look at the pictures they're posting. Look at the posts that they're doing, because that can give you a lot of insight about them. Now, another way that you can get to know your customers more is create a survey. I remember creating one inside of the Mom's Marketing Lounge previously. This is something that I will probably do a few times a year, but I use SurveyMonkey, and I just, wrote out a few questions. So you can create a survey for your audience and have them fill that out. You just want to make sure, let me see if I can get this out. You just want to make sure that it's not some, 50 question survey where they have to sit here and spend 30 minutes filling it out. So just keep it simple, but, create and write out some good questions that are going to allow you to get to know who they are, what their goals are, what they're looking to accomplish. And again, this could be personal goals. This could be, if you're a coach, like with me, I'm a coach. So what are their business goals? Or another thing that you can do is simply directly ask them, ask them some questions in a one-on-one conversation to get to know them a little better. And now I want to kind of share with you a couple of other things that I've implemented into my business, and this really came from just raising my awareness and looking at what other companies that I've been with have done, and how can I take and tweak some of the things that they're doing to really incorporate it into my own business for my own customer base. And so one of the very first things that I started doing inside of the Moms Marketing Lounge is doing a member of the month. And the member of the month is somebody that me and my assistant, we brainstorm, and we really think about, who inside of the Moms Marketing Lounge is really standing out that month, who is showing up, who's taking action, who is, not giving into excuses, who is, active inside of the group, who is somebody who's really just standing out. And so, one thing about the member of the month is, they get recognition. I also send them a gift. And so I'll kind of show you just an example of, one of the gifts that a couple of my members have gotten. So this is just, just some little sticky notes, because I'm huge into office supplies. Another thing is, they get a book. So this was actually a book that this person wanted. I was going to send another book, but then I made sure that my assistant messaged them, was like, hey, do you have this particular book? They were like, yes. And so we asked her, was there any particular book that you've been wanting to read? Once she told us that, I immediately ordered it, and this is the book that she's going to be receiving. Also, just some little pens. These are my absolute favorite pens. Now, I will say that I probably next time need to find out maybe what their favorite pens are, but these are mine, so I'm sending them a couple of my favorite pens. And then I went to Erin Condren, and I had a notebook customized just for them, had their name, added to it. So this is just a personal touch. And, this is something, again, that I do, that if you want to take it and implement it with your customer base, feel free to do it. Totally up to you. But I did end up getting that idea from a different company that I am with. Now, the second thing that I started doing is, I've noticed that a lot of big companies offer basically incentive programs for their customers. Like Sephora, I am a Sephora, I guess a Sephora insider. So you spend so much money and then you get some free products or some samples or whatever the case may be. I know a lot of other companies, I think Starbucks has a loyalty program, some type of incentive program. And so I ended up going and creating an incentive program for my members in the Moms Marketing Lounge. And this is it. So basically what I did, and I created these little PDFs. And what the incentive program is, it's just basically where they can earn points. And there's two ways that they can earn points. One is for every month that they are active, they're an active member of the Moms Marketing Lounge. They get a point for every month that they're active. And then if they refer anybody into the Moms Marketing Lounge who stays in for at least a month, they get a point that way. And then once they reach certain points, which you can kind of see right here, they get certain prizes. So level 1 is 5 points. They get a custom notebook, which I will show you. It's just a little custom notebook that I had created with the Moms Marketing Lounge logo on it. And one of the things that I love about this, because I teach online marketing, is I love having little notebooks that I can just throw in my purse or keep beside my bed in case a piece of content, a content idea pops into my head. I like being able to write it down. And so this month and next month, they are going to receive, this little journal, plus one of my favorite books, which is How to Win Friends and Influence People, because I think everybody needs to kind of know how to be a better communicator, right? And so that is level 1. I have, level 2, once they get 10 points, they get a little like video kit, on up to a productivity bundle, a full-fledged like video lighting set with mic. Level 5, at level 5, I'm giving away like either an Apple Watch or an iPad. And then the very last level is like a weekend getaway for 2. And so again, this just kind of incentivizes them to stick around and know that they are going to get rewarded. So, what maybe can you do? Would that be something that you could implement for your customers? Now, it doesn't have to be anything as drastic. You can take and kind of play around with what I did and create your own. That's totally fine. But again, just some type of incentive program. And I did that over offering like an affiliate program, because I felt like instead of doing an affiliate program where they got commissions, like I wanted to reward them for like stepping up. I wanted to reward them for like staying active and like remaining a member for the long haul. So there you have it. Those are my tips. Now, inside of the Mom's Marketing Lounge, later on, we are going to be doing a full-fledged training, way more in-depth in regards to just how to increase your customer retention. But before I leave, I do want to give you a great book recommendation where, I've gotten a few of these ideas, and there's several things from this book. It's called Never Lose a Customer Again, Turn Any Sale into Lifelong Loyalty in 100 Days. It's by Joey Coleman. I'll put a link to it below, but this book is chocked full of ideas, and he kind of talks about, every person goes through kind of like 8 phases, and it's from, pre-sale all the way up to like a loyal raving fan who's like singing your praises. And there's certain things that you can do at each stage to really increase, that customer retention, to make them, feel awesome, to feel special. And so I would highly recommend getting this book. There's a couple others that I'm going to be checking out as well, just because I do think that this is a very important aspect to your business. Because the one thing that I have learned is it is actually way more expensive to acquire a new customer versus retain an old one. And one thing that I've implemented into my own business is not only a budget to acquire new customers, but I've also set aside a budget to really reward current customers and to retain them. And so I want you to also kind of keep that in mind. But overall, that is all for today's video. Hope you got some value. If so, feel free to hit that like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. Question of the day. I would love to hear about, an experience you've had. Like, what are some things that you look for when it comes to, like, what gets you loyal to a customer? What gets you loyal to a business, to an entrepreneur, to a brand? What is it that you really look for when it comes to loyalty? And so that is all for now. Can't wait to see your comments, and I'll see you back later on in the week for another video. Bye for now.